You're listening to Rebel Spirituality with me, Sam Goldfinch. Here's the truth. Wisdom doesn't follow rules. So each week we're going to explore what it means to wake up your way so you can live a more peaceful, creative and inspired life no matter your circumstances. It's time to blaze your unique path to truth. Hey my Rebel friends, a 30-second update from me. I have launched a service called A Walk with Sam, where you basically just book in to walk and talk with me for an hour on the phone, and we get out of the house, have a walk around the park or whatever. We can talk about anything you like, a topic from a podcast or a Substack. It could be something that you're struggling with. You can think of it as a coaching conversation or just the chat to kind of loosen things up and poke some holes in your story around something to see if something new and some new insight can come in. I'm going to release slots on Thursdays for the week ahead so that it works around my ever-changing and busy schedule. And a few of you have already booked in. I've loved them. And all the information and stuff is in the show notes if you're in any way interested in looking into that. Okay, that's it. I'll see you on the podcast. Hey friends, so today we're talking about the physics of suffering. And there's this phrase that you may have heard, the Buddhists often say this, that as humans, pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. But I want to unpack what we actually mean by that today. Like, what are the actual mechanics? What are the physics of suffering? Like, how does it happen? And the reason that we're going to explore that is because as we start to see that, as we shine a light on that, we tend not to pull the lever of suffering so much. And so we live with more ease, and even life's most difficult moments, we don't have to suffer through them. So in simple terms, the mechanics of suffering is that we take what's happening in our direct experience, so a sensation or an emotion that we label uncomfortable or that we label painful, and then we add layers of thinking to it, and then we end up in the world of psychological suffering. So this distinction between pain and suffering essentially says that, look, that feeling, whatever that is in the system, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it doesn't necessarily kind of feel so good, even prior to the mind labeling it like something that's positive or negative, comfortable or uncomfortable, it's just an experience. It's just a sensation that's showing up in the system. And then we innocently add layers of thinking to it, or thinking gets added to it, right? It's not that we're doing it on purpose. We start saying, oh my God, why is this here? Why is this sensation here? How long is this going to last? How do I stop this? And the irony is that the moment that the thinking mechanisms come in and start adding layers and layers of thought to that, we usually end up in a world where we're trying to manage or cope or get rid of that sensation that's just a sensation. It's just an energy. It's just something that's moving through the system. And essentially we end up fighting with that energy, or we end up arguing with it. These are all metaphors, but I find them helpful. So we may be in a painful experience in the system, but it doesn't mean that we have to be arguing with it. The mind can argue with it, and that's where the suffering comes from. So suffering is optional because it's optional. We don't have to suffer, even through things that are difficult or things that may, feel, well, things like sadness or grief or pain, okay? We start adding meaning. We start adding layers of, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be here. There must be something wrong. We start to relate to that emotion or that feeling or that sensation as a problem, basically. And as soon as we do that, we start looking for solutions to it. So that's why we end up trying to manage it or cope with it or, trying to get rid of it. And we end up just going around, we end up in a tailspin, basically. The very thing that we're trying to do to kind of get rid of it, it ramps it up and it revs it up. And it's a signal, it's a wisdom signal letting us know what's going on. It's letting us know that we have innocently, through the power of thought, we've added more and more layers of meaning, more and more layers of resistance, more and more, this shouldn't be happening, or, even why is this happening to me, or I shouldn't be feeling this right now, for example. Like, there's a right way to be experiencing sadness. And many of us may have been taught things and learned things along the way. I was speaking to someone recently who'd been through a big life event. Something had happened to a family member, and it was something that would be very natural to have like a strong emotional response to. But actually, the response had come after the fact, which is very common. It's something that at the time when something happens, it maybe isn't even wise for us to be having that emotional response. And then the system starts moving that energy through, starts healing us a few hours or a few days even after the experience. And this person had innocently was saying, why is this happening? Making meaning, like this shouldn't be happening. I've done so much work on myself. I shouldn't be experiencing X, Y, Z at this point and things like that. And it's so innocent, the ways that we can do this stuff. We make this meaning, or we resist, or we argue with what's there. But that is literally the physics of suffering. That's where it comes from. I think of an experience I had recently where I went to Greece and I had this huge allergic reaction. I don't know what to, but my entire body came up in hives. It wasn't fun. Like, I'd never experienced anything like that before. I hadn't been through that before. And the discomfort and the itching that I experienced for 48 hours was really intense. Like the look on the lady's face when I went into the pharmacy was not comforting. When she took a look at me and was trying to talk to me in English about what to do, and I was trying to talk to her, I don't have any Greek, so, trying to figure that out together. And there were times over those 2 days where I got caught in suffering, right? So there were times where I was there having the experience. It was very uncomfortable, but I was present and I was just not making story around it. And then there were times where the thought would show up, I don't know if I can take this anymore. And then my mind would start saying, oh my God, is this going to be like this forever? Like, all these things would start coming in. I'd start making meaning. And the moment I went into there, my system would let me know, you're caught up in your thinking right now. You don't need to do that. And what I noticed was that thought, I can't take this anymore, might show up. But then there I would be in the raw experience and it would be okay. And I was okay. And I wouldn't wish that experience. I hope not to have it again. But it was really powerful to realize, like that suffering doesn't have to be created. As much as this is uncomfortable, painful, whatever it might be, if I listen to that wisdom signal that's letting me know when I'm adding story, then I fall back into the direct experience and I fall out of all of that stuff that the mind has been generating. The most amazing thing about all of this is even if we catch ourselves in those moments of suffering, there's always an opportunity to put it down, basically, to realize what's going on, to catch sight, to have an insight, to see where our attention is, to see how we've innocently been using the power of thought to kind of take ourselves into those suffering loops. And that's great news, because it means that many of the moments of life that we can be scared of or frightened about, or how would I possibly handle that, or if that were to happen, how would I be able to experience that? What opens up is the knowing that we'll be okay. In this moment now, in our direct experience, we're always okay. It's only in the conceptual mind that we can come up with the idea that we haven't been built for reality, that we haven't been built for this world, whatever it may be. And we're able to let these emotions and these sensations unfold in a way that, for me, I didn't know was possible for many years. And it's been a real gift, and it's been a lot more lightness into my life to realize I don't have to be scared. I don't have to be afraid of my experience. All right, team. I think that's it. I hope you have an awesome day, week, month, year, all that good stuff. I hope to see you here again before a year's up anyway. But yeah, I'll catch you soon.